Looks like we're live. And I think this might be a little bit loud. Hold on, folks. Okay. At least on YouTube, it's not that loud, so I need to make sure I can be heard over it. So you might hear a loop while I'm waiting for the playback. Okay. At least on YouTube, it's not that loud, so I need to make sure I can be heard over it. Okay. What is good, everybody? It is the Godfather of VR, the ageless one of the man, Liquid Clay. We are back for some Gran Turismo 7. It has been a while. It's been ages since I've done a GT7 stream, and I'm sure some of you can guess why. But it's been almost 2 weeks since I streamed, period. And it was for a variety of reasons. Starting with Project Motor Racing. I had a couple of weeks ago, I had been playing a lot of Project Motor Racing in VR. And the VR is in an experimental stage. So when I'm trying to do a rank race or community race, the performance can go in the tank at any given moment. So I've scaled back on the PvP and been doing single player races off YouTube because the behavior is more consistent in terms of the performance. So yeah, I kind of wanted to wait until the VR reaches a 1.0 stage before doing some more Project Motor Racing streams in VR. And then I had a situation where two of my cars took a dump. Both my Acura and my Toyota, the transmission's going out on both cars. They both still move, but they shift really hard. And at points, both cars, the transmission is slipping on both cars. They're both on their way out. And as far as the Acura goes, it would cost an arm and a leg to fix that because that car is all-wheel drive. The Toyota, yeah, if I were to buy a transmission from a yard or off of eBay or something like that, it's probably going to cost me about $1,000 to get that car together. Um, I'm trying to decide whether I'm definitely selling the Acura and cut my losses with that car. I'm trying to decide whether or not to fix the Camry and then sell it because those cars hold their value. I've been looking for a car. I had been looking for a car, and my first instinct was to look for another Camry because my Camry has 315,000 miles on it. It still has a lot of life in it, and that car basically was for my son. Um, but complications, prevented that. So I ended up buying another car. I bought a 2007 Pontiac Grand Prix for $2,000. It needed a little bit of work. I had to put a rotor, a caliper, pads, and a strut on it. And now that I've got those things taken care of, it is a super solid car. It's got the 3800 V6 in it, and I think that 3800 V6 is the best American engine ever built. Those engines are tanks. They don't die, and I think those engines are probably what gave Buick and Oldsmobile their reputation for being super dependable cars because a lot of their cars had that 3800 engine in it. So so yeah, I bought that car, and then the biggest reason why I've been gone is the day after I bought that car, my father died. I knew this was coming. His health has been bad for years, and I'm not I'm not grieving the way you think I would, being that I lost my father, because he hung around a lot longer than I thought he would. In fact, he probably hung around about 15, 20 years longer than I thought he would. And as his health started to decline, we knew that the end was getting closer and closer. Um, so now he's passed and probably in a better place. So I've been dealing with that for the later half of last week, and my brother's
At
in town.
DJJM09 said, "Sup Lincoln Clay. I'm enjoying the stream from the airplane. At Hole in Dan's Sock said, hello my friend.
Dan Sock, how's it going? DJ, where you headed? You on a plane? Thanks for tuning in, both of you. I really appreciate it. And so this week, my brother as well as other relatives are in town.
At Hole
So
in Dan's Sock said, sorry for your loss dude. At Hole in Dan's Sock said, stay strong as always.
hey, definitely. Thank you so much. So yeah, we
At
got
DJJM09 said, my condolences.
hey, thank you, DJ. Appreciate it. So yeah, this week we'll be getting everything together for the funeral, which is this Friday. So I've taken the entire week off. Um, so that pretty much
At
explains.
DJJM09 said, I'm headed back to the UK where I am stationed at. I was vacationing in Japan.
Really? Wow. How long have you been in the military, DJ? I always wanted to see Japan and the UK. As far as YouTube friends, yeah, I've got friends in the UK. I've got a few of them. Mac and VR, Ham VR, Gamer Tag VR, um, and a few others that's not on YouTube anymore. But if I could ever go to the UK,
At DJJM09 said, 11 years in the Air Force.
no kidding. So all this time you've been streaming on Twitch, you've been in the Air Force? Damn. Okay, so while I wait for your response, so yeah, the passing of my father. Last week I originally planned to.
At Hole in Dan's Sock said, I did 3 years Canadian Armed Forces Air Cadets in the 90s. It was fun.
Oh, no kidding. Shout out to you. Shout out to you, Dan Sock. So it was my plan to stream the Hypercar DLC for GT7 as well as the update for Rensport, because last week they had an update where they gave us two free tracks. They gave us Laguna Seca and Sebring. And I think Sebring is huge because I think Sebring has become a hugely popular track. I think over the last year or so, um, it's starting to be that track that almost every game must have. I would say right now, as far as racing games that you may consider a sim, GT7 is probably the only game that doesn't have Sebring. Hell, even Forza has Sebring. Um, yeah, but games like yeah, Sebring and and I don't know if I could include a set of Corsa Competizione in that because they basically don't support the game anymore. But
At
AC
Hole in
Evo,
Dan's Sock said, this game looks interesting. Is it new?
absolutely not. This game came out in 2022. So this game has been out for well over 4 years. It came out in February of 2022, and then it got PSVR 2 support in February of 2023. So absolutely, this
At
is
hole
not a
in
new
Dan
game.
Suck. Said. Oh, I read title.
Did I screw up on the title? Let me double check it. GT7 PSVR 2. Okay. No, nothing in the title that would make anybody think this is a new game. All right, all right. So, at some point, I took the whole week off, so I plan to do a few streams this week. Um, I'll take a look at the Rensport DLC. I mean, I played it for a few. I played it for about a half hour last week, but I shut it off because the AI is still
At hole
stupid.
in Dan Suck. Said. I meant I should have read title.
Yeah, no problem, no problem.
At hole in Dan Suck. Said. My bad dude, haha.
No problem. Um, so yeah, with Rensport, the AI is still stupid. It's still one of the dumbest AIs out there. I think Rensport and Forza probably has the worst AI. AC Evo isn't much better. It's the AI is terrible there. Um, shit, Project Motor Racing, the AI isn't in nowhere near as bad as those games. But despite that, I still plan. I'll take a look at Red Sport and stream it. I'll probably do the stream, and you probably won't see a Ren Sport stream until they come out with something big again because it doesn't have VR support. So not only that, it's the user base isn't very big. Um, Today with GT7 and this Hypercar DLC, we'll take a look at it today, and then you probably won't see me stream it again until until the next big DLC comes. And from what I'm understanding, the rumor has it
At
that
Carlos Angelang. Said. If Sebring came to GT7 I'd take the PS5 back from my son LOL.
Oh man, I'm trying to stop laughing. Oh man, that's a good one. Um, I think you know what? I think Sebring could still come to GT7 depending on how much longer they plan to support this game before GT8 comes out. And I guess that brings me to how I feel about this Hypercar DLC. Um, this Hypercar DLC is actually it's a good thing, but I don't think it's going to change the landscape because for starters, these hypercars should have been there a long time ago. There are some people who are what's the word I'm looking for? Who have kind of defended how long it's taken for the hypercars to come to GT7, saying that it takes about 6 months um, to develop the cars in the game. But I'm sure Polyphony Digital has enough employees that they could have had people working on all these cars, um, and they could have gotten it to us years ago. But instead, GT7 chose to SUV us to death. And I mean, they didn't, it reached a point where people started threatening to leave for them to finally back off with all this SUV DLC and start giving us race cars again. Um, I think this game, I think these hypercars should have been here right from the get go. I think if the hypercars would have been here from the get go, those who left GT7 might still be here. I think we're at a point right now where those who have left GT7 are not coming back. I think those who left GT7 have moved on to Le Mans Ultimate, have moved on to iRacing. Um, I don't know if I could see AC Evo being attractive enough for people to leave GT7 for. Not while it's still in this early access stage right now. And I don't know about the title of this stream because while I don't want to be negative, also I also want to be brutally honest. Um, so with this Hypercar DLC, we've got four cars. We've got the Ferrari 499P, the Peugeot 9X8, the Porsche 963, and the BMW M8. I'm not sure if it's called the M8 or not, but the BMW hypercar. I only bought one because these cars are 3 million credits each, and I only had 3 million credits. And this is one thing that I will push back against, that every time GT7 adds cars to this game and people say they're free, they are not free. They cost in-game credits. And if you don't have any in-game credits built up, your option is to pay for it, pay for in-game credits with real money. And that's the one thing I do not like about GT7 is this in-credit economy, because it resembles the shark card economy on GT5. Nothing is one-to-one. Everything overlaps each other. So you may have a car, in the case of these hypercars, that cost 3 million credits each. But if you go to buy, you know what? I'll show you guys. So let's go to Brand Central. Already bought the hypercar, so we'll just go to the BMW. Okay, so this hypercar is 3 million credits. All the hypercars are 3 million credits each. And what I do not like about this is if you don't have any credits, like in my case, since I spent my 3 million credits on the Ferrari hypercar, I only have 28,000 credits left. And I don't play this game enough to grind out another 3 million credits, or for that matter, another 9 million credits to get the remaining hypercars. So that means you would have to buy them. You would have to buy them with real money. So I don't I go to purchase it right here. Remember, this is 3 million credits. Naturally, I don't have 3 million credits. So you go here to the PlayStation store or whatever, or to the GT7 store, whatever you want to call it, to top off on in-game credits in order to buy the car. Now you see the price listing of the in-game credits. Right here, the 2 million credits is $20 in real money. That's not enough to buy the car because, again, it's not one-to-one. They overlap each other. That's 2 million
At
credits.
DJJM09 said, they need to finally release it on PC. Just require people to have a PS Plus or something. I want to use it with my new wheelbase.
You know, DJ, I think that's going to happen with GT8 because I plan to get to that. So after we talk about this DLC, I definitely want to talk about GT8 and PC, because I definitely think, I wasn't sure at first. I don't think GT7 is coming to PC, but I do think GT8 will come to PC. So anyway, as I was saying about the DLC, 2 million credits, $20, or because they don't have a $3 million credit, or you can buy this $5 million credit for $30. So in order for me to buy the remaining 3 hypercars, it would cost me 9 million credits which means I would have to spend $60 in real money. Or if I didn't have that Ferrari already, it would cost me 12 million in-game credits, and I would be forced to spend $120 in real money in order to acquire um, those hypercars, and I would have 3 million left over. So I don't like that the pricing is not one to one. On GT Sport, they didn't have this kind of economy set up. It was just simply microtransactions. If you wanted to buy a car on GT Sport, the cars cost anywhere from um, $3 to $5 US dollars, and that was the end of it. But here, with the hypercars costing 3 million each, in order to get the best value, you would be forced to buy the 5 million credit package. And I think that is scummy. That is the one thing that I definitely did not like about GT7 right from the start. And then to make it even worse, some of the cars that were already on GT Sport for free, they put them in the Legends dealership for 20 million credits. So let me show you. Jeez, I do all that backing out. All right, let's go to the Legends dealership. And then not only that, with the Legends dealership, the cars are ridiculously priced, and um, it's for a limited time only. So they use scare tactics. So let me see. Can I blow this up? Okay, yeah. So right here, this Ford GT is 6.7 million credits. Now that's fucked up because now you would have to spend $60 in real money in order to get enough credits to buy this car. Same here. You would have to
At
spend
Adrenaluquit said, a GT7 stream nice.
don't get too used to it. Um okay, so look at this right here. 20 million credits. You would have to spend 120 real dollars US in order to buy this car. And then right here, like this truck right here, they've done it before with the more expensive cars. It says limited stock. So that's a scare tactic to make you buy it before they suddenly just shut it off. So when they come back to this car right here, for instance, and say limited stock, they're going to try to scare you into buying the car right now. So you're going to buy you're going to quick spend real money in order to get the in-game credits to buy this car. I think I think this tactic is scummy and predatory, and that's uh I I I don't like it. And then coming back to these hypercars, I don't think I don't think this game is going to make use of those hypercars. Um, I don't like. We may see it next. We may see it. We should be seeing it this week, but I think next week we may possibly see a daily race using the hypercars, but we might not see it for another 6 months after that. And I think case in point is like the Group C cars, the GT500 cars. Those are wonderful cars on this game, but you barely see them being used, in a daily race. You might see it get
At
used.
Kamikaze8824 said, there's no hypercar daily races.
No, it should be. given how big this DLC is, it's not big for me because on PC, other than iRacing, any other game that has hypercars, I have it. And then the other thing is, if they want to impress me with this DLC, I think they have to fill out the rest of the hypercar class as well as the GT3 class. So we've gotten 4 hypercars, which is cool, but that's kind of the norm because Forza has 4 hypercars. It has the Porsche, the BMW, the Cadillac, and the Lamborghini hypercar. In the case of Automobilista 2, it has 6 hypercars. Le Mans Ultimate has I believe it has the most with 13 hypercars because they have the exclusive
At
WEC license.
Said, you can host hypercar lobbies by setting GR1, then put minimum year to 2020, and then kick anyone who picks a VGT LOL.
Yeah, that's to be expected, but I'm talking about using it for a rank race.
At Adrenaluquity said, yeah, and GT7 only has 3 up-to-date GT3 cars.
I think they only got 2. I know they have the Porsche 992 and the Ferrari 296. Now, rumor has it that the BMW M4 is coming, which I think it should be next. Because when it comes to the GT3 cars, the BMW M4 is one of the more popular cars across all sims. When the ACC got the M4, everybody was using that
At
car.
Adrenaluquity said, 2020 Mercedes technically is still in use today in real life.
Okay, you got me there. Okay, I can go with that. So 3 current hypercars, but they're still missing so many cars. And again, like, okay, so the 2020 Mercedes was there from the start, but I think the Porsche 992, the Ferrari 296, and the BMW M4, those are 3 cars that should have been there right from the start, especially since one of their daily races is always a Group 3 car, a
At
Group 3 race.
Adrenaluquity said, no number 3 current GT3 cars, 4 current hypercars.
Yeah, so now we got the Mercedes, the Ferrari 296, and the Porsche 992. So the Mercedes was there right from the get-go, right when this game launched. So that being said, they've only added 2 current GT3 cars.
At Kamikaze 8824 said, the up-to-date cars are the Porsche, the Ferrari, the Lexus is still racing, the Mercedes, and the Nissan GT3 is still in use in GT Asia.
Okay. So the up-to-date cars that we're missing would be, when the game first launched, the games that they didn't have, or the cars that they didn't have, again, would be the Porsche 992, the Ferrari 296, the McLaren, what else? An updated Mustang, the Corvette Z06. So I've named off 5 cars off the top of my head. Now, out of those 3 cars, I feel that the Porsche 992, the Ferrari 296, and the BMW M4 are 3 cars that should have been on this game when it launched, right from the start. We shouldn't have reached the point where we're 4 years into the life of this game. And it seems to me like Sony and Polyphony Digital don't do anything until people threaten to leave.
At Adrenaluquity said, fair point with the Lexus.
So yeah, I mean, you got a good point, Kamikaze, with the cars that were already there in terms of the Lexus, the Mercedes, um, the Nissan. I didn't know that the Nissan was still in use. Um, but the other five cars that I named off, at least three of them should have been there from the start. And we're 4 years into the life of this game. I mean, the only, honestly,
At Kamikaze8824 said, a correct Honda and BMW M4 should be in, also a up-to-date Aston. At Adrenaluquite said, Lincoln, I 100% agree. Polyphony is getting too comfortable because of their success is my theory.
that's
Tons
exactly
of
what it
much
is.
needed features are also missing.
And they don't do anything about it until people threaten to leave. I mean, when people was complaining about the dirty driving on GT7, Polyphony Digital made no attempt to do anything about it until people started threatening to leave. And then when people started threatening to leave, that's when they finally got up off their ass and finally did try to do something about it, where they would make the cars turn into ghosts
At
when you
Hole in
in
Dan Suck
corners.
said, these loading screens are a vibe.
They are. I mean, GT7 itself, I don't think it's. I think it's definitely eye candy, but I don't think it's
At
that fun.
Kamikaze8824 said, I think they'll have to up their game when LMU comes to console.
It's funny that you mention that because, well, I'm on Ultimate. Honestly, I don't. You know what? If Project Motor Racing would have had a proper launch, we wouldn't even have to mention Le Mans Ultimate, because something that I've said this a bunch of times, that I don't think people have really like let it sunk in. But when it comes to hypercars, um, when it comes to hypercars, Project Motor Racing has the most current hypercars on console. They don't have the most hypercars overall, but they have the most current hypercars on console with 9 hypercars. And they are the only uh, sim on console that has the Acura hypercar. Um, I think the only other sim that has the Acura hypercar would be iRacing, and I think possibly Automobile Lista 2. But on console, no other game has the Acura hypercar or LMH or whatever the class is of that car.
At Kamikaze8824 said, the Super Formula cars and track selection are what keeps me coming back to GT7.
They got a good track selection. Give them that. I still think they're missing some crucial tracks. As far as the track selection goes, I think Sebring is really the only track that they are missing on GT7. So they do have a good track selection. The Super Formula cars are all right. They really don't do anything for me. So whenever I feel like driving Formula cars, I jump into the F125, F126, what
At
have you.
Mike51CFD said, PMR has the Acura hypercar.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, Mike. I was saying that as far as console goes, Project Motor Racing is the only racing game on console that has the Acura hypercar. If you want to drive the Acura hypercar anywhere else, you would have to go to iRacing, which is on PC, or I believe Automobile Lista 2, which is also on PC. So if you want to drive the Acura hypercar on the PlayStation or the Xbox, Project Motor Racing is the only game that has it. Um, so to add to that, to say that again, that Project Motor Racing has the most current hypercars on
At
console.
Hole in Dan Suck said, I bought some nice sesame seed oil to cook with, so nice. Little chili flakes with some pork or something, adds a nice Asian twist to my meals sometimes.
So you're in the Japanese mood, huh? Um, so yeah, I kind of lost my train of thought about um so yeah, what I was going to say about Project Motor Racing is that terrible launch. If Project Motor Racing hadn't had that terrible launch, like if you ask me, if you're on PS5 or Xbox and you say, I want to, you know, I want to jump into something that I feel is a little more serious than Forza or GT7, and I want to drive current
At
GT3s and current hypercars,
Mike51CFD said, Acura is a good car to drive. Time to add LE mans.
that's a good. See, the thing about that, Mike, is that Acura is an IMSA car. It's not a WEC car. There's no Acuras in the WEC. So I don't know. I mean, it's possible that we could see it come to Le Mans Ultimate, being that they have already dropped an Easter egg about them possibly that Daytona could be the next track coming to Le Mans Ultimate. So it's very well a possibility that they could add the Acura. But ironically, on the IMSA schedule, you have the Acura Grand Prix of Long Beach. And this is Acura's last year at IMSA. They're dropping out. So that's really unfortunate. But yeah, to put a bow on that, if Project Motor Racing didn't have that terrible launch and people were saying like, PS5, if they wanted to move on to something a little more serious than GT7, I would undoubtedly tell them to go over to Project Motor Racing, because you definitely have a good variety of hypercars and current GT3s over there, because they have a good. I think they got about. I think the game has about um 10 or 11 current GT3 cars. So they definitely got a good choice of current GT3s. But yeah, that bad launch killed them. They're going to recover from it though. I mean, slowly but surely, as they add more content, they're going to bounce back from this. It's currently my favorite game, to tell you the truth. They're going to bounce back from this, and uh, the game is getting better with every update. So now, I think before we get ready to hop into a car, I think the last thing that I want to say talk about is the PC thing. Uh, King David is a YouTuber that I follow, and he's got connections. He personally knows Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond and some of the other Xbox people there. I think Aaron Greenberg and all those guys. He knows all those. He knows all those people, and I guess he's privy to some information that some of it he can't reveal, but he swears up and down that this fall Sony will be coming out with their own PC launcher. And at first, I was thinking, if they did that, it could hurt sales of the console. But now, given these RAM prices,
At
because
Mike51CFD said, I watched the 24 hours of LE Mans this past weekend and there were no Porsche 963s running.
yeah, Porsche
The broadcast was saying that Porsche pulled out.
Yeah, Porsche pulled out last year. And
Mr. Paul Bogart. Thanks for following.
Hey, Paul, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it. Here, let me give you one of these.
Ain't no stopping this train. Whoa!
Appreciate it. So, okay, so Porsche pulled out of the WEC. For the most part, they felt that Ferrari was getting a favorable BOP. Because, you know, Ferrari had won, what, like 2 or 3 straight Le Mans? So Porsche pulled out. Now, the bad part about it is there was some private privateers that wanted to keep Porsche in the WEC, and they were willing to continue to drive the Porsche Hypercar as a private team, but Porsche said no. So Porsche is trying to make a statement to the WEC about the BOP. Not only that, it's crazy. You know what? I'm gonna show you guys something here in a second. But in addition to Porsche feeling like Ferrari got a favorable BOP, as a viewer watching the 24 hours of Le Mans, a couple of those races that Ferrari won, I felt like they got away with some shit. They were pushing some cars off the track. So it's crazy that when it comes to F1, I love Ferrari because of Lewis Hamilton. But even before he got there, I liked Ferrari because of Charles Leclerc. I like him too. But when it comes to the WEC, I was not a big fan of Ferrari, at least with the hypercars. I'm okay with Ferrari as far as the GT3 goes. Let me show you guys something too. Hold on. You guys can still hear me because I'm walked out of the room. I'm gonna grab something real quick, show you guys. So let me see here. What's the bag? It was about a month and a half ago, because I assume you guys can still hear me. About a month and a half ago, we have an outlet mall here called Tanger Outlets, and they have a Puma store there. And I went to this outlet mall and I bought 3 shirts. I bought a BMW polo shirt, a Porsche polo shirt, and I bought this Ferrari polo shirt. Hold on. Yeah, I bought this Ferrari polo shirt. And today I went back to that Puma store and bought a matching Ferrari hat with it too. And that's kind of crazy how I love Ferrari when it comes to Formula One, but I'm not a big fan of them when it comes to the WEC. So yeah, that's the situation with Porsche. They pulled out of the WEC because they weren't happy. They felt like
At
Ferrari.
Mike51 CFD said, the Ferrari 499P wasn't even in the top 5 in the hypercar class this weekend.
No, one of the cars.
Toyota finished first and third.
Yeah.
BMW was second and Cadillac was fourth in the class.
Yeah, I was heartbroken that Cadillac didn't win it because the last like 2 or 3 years in quali, Cadillac had been one of the fastest cars. And then I think about 3-4 years ago, I think Cadillac was going to win the, what was it? I think like the 6 hours of Spa. Earl Bamber was on the move and he had a terrible crash. How he didn't get hurt in that crash is beyond me. But yeah, so it's crazy that I'm okay that Ferrari didn't win it this year. I really wanted Cadillac to win it though. I'm heartbroken that they won it, but at least Corvette won the GT3 class. So I'm at least happy with that. Lewis won the Barcelona Grand Prix this weekend, so I'm happy with that. So 2 out of 3, you know, Corvette won, Lewis won, and the trifecta would have been if Cadillac would have won the race. Really heartbroken over that, but I'm okay with Toyota winning it, even though they have been dominant in the past years. Because I think they've had, like, the Toyota GR010 was a sweet looking hypercar. This new one, this TRO 010, is an even sweeter looking hypercar. I think currently in a WEC, I think that um I think the Toyota TRO10 as well as the Peugeot 9X8
At Mike 51
are
CFD said, the Cadillac ran so well during the night but daylight hit and the track heated up, Cadillac dropped. I am also happy with Corvette winning.
now. I don't know what happened with Cadillac, the number 38 car that dropped out of the race. Sebastian Bordeaux was driving at the time. And when I seen him with his head down, with his hands on his head like that, I was just totally heartbroken to see that. But I guess, the report was that I think the power steering went out on the car or something like that. But yeah, what a heartbreak. So I think before we got off track, started talking about the 24 hours of Le Mans, which I'm always happy to talk about because it is my favorite race in the entire world. And Cadillac, they gotta get it. They gotta get it. Um, I'm also pulling for
At
Cadillac in
Mike
Formula
51
One.
CFD said, the 38 Cadillac broke a power steering system.
Okay, yeah, was saying that a second ago. That's what I think
At
that I heard.
Adrenaluquite said, yeah, I was rooting for Cadillac too.
They honestly, some may disagree, but I think out of the last 3-4 years, the 24 hours of Le Mans, Cadillac should have won 2 of them. Because I think one of those years they had 1-2 in quali. They had the pole and second, so they had 2 Cadillacs on the front row. Um, and what worries me about that is when it comes to the WEC.
At Mike 51 CFD said, I am drawn to Le Mans because my grandfather went through that area during World War II.
To me, it's my favorite race, and the 24 hours of Le Mans is the one race where I definitely appreciate human engineering because we are talking about cars that are works of art. The beautiful Ferraris, Lamborghinis, the beautiful hypercars. All these cars doing 200 miles an hour for 24 hours. So I think it's an incredible event. I love it, and I think the broadcast for the 24 hours of Le Mans won't be the same anymore when when he finally moves on, because he's the voice of the 24 hours of Le Mans. I absolutely love Martin Haven. When it comes to motorsports commentators, Martin Haven is my favorite. I'd probably say, followed by David Croft for F1. So, so, so let's get back to this GT7 coming to PC. I was talking about how King David, he believes that a PC launcher is coming. That Sony is launching a PC launcher this fall. I didn't believe it at first, but because of the soaring RAM prices and what these consoles are expected to cost next generation, with the Project Helix coming from Xbox expected to cost anywhere from $1,200 to $1,500, and the PS6 expected to cost anywhere from $800 to $1,000, and some people have even gone as high as $1,200. They're not going to sell that many consoles. Not to mention that um, the first party output from Sony hasn't been what it was during the PS4 generation. They haven't put out as many first party games, and some of them have been lackluster. That is the kind of the sentiment. I think the last Sony exclusive that I bought, I think might have been God of War Ragnarok. But in any case, a $1,000 PlayStation or a $1,200 PlayStation, they're not going to sell that many of them. And the people that are already on PC, you're not going to get them to buy a PS6. Not too many of them. I think for a lot of people that's on PS5, they know that Sony's going to support the PS5 for years to come, even after the PS6 launches. So they may not be in a hurry to move. And Sony has already shown that even though, they're pulling their single games from PC, but they're leaving their live service games over on PC. So it shows that they obviously want they still want that live service money. That being said, they had the situation with Helldivers where the game did extremely well, but Sony tried to capitalize on it by trying to force a PSN login, and the people were not having it. And so Sony was forced to rescind it. I think with a PC launcher, Sony controls 100% of the parameters of a PC launcher. They would be in a position where they would force a PSN login. If they dared to do it, they would be in a position where they could force you to subscribe to PlayStation Plus in order to play any long online games, just like you do with the PlayStation console. And I do believe that if GT7 would have been on PC, it definitely would have made its mark. I don't think it would have as many users as the console, but I could see where if GT7 was on PC, I could see where it would have sold anywhere from 1 to 3 million copies. And I think that if they put GT8 on PC, on their PC launcher, I could see that happening with GT8. Because it'd probably be a lot easier for people that already have a PC that refuses to buy a console. It'd probably be a lot easier to get them to buy it, because a lot of sim racers on PC have all the games, even the ones they don't play. Me, I have them all. I have them all except iRacing, because I'm not with that monthly subscription. Otherwise, I would have it. I don't play it that much, but I have Forza on PC. If it had VR support, yeah, I would definitely play it more. So, all right, I think we can finally move on and do a few laps. And again, folks, the Ferrari 499P is the only hypercar that I bought. Because I really wanted to buy the Peugeot or the Porsche, but with the Ferrari hypercar, although I think it's not 100% accurate with the audio, it's still the best sounding hypercar out of the hypercars in this DLC. We'll go new. And I'm doing this in VR. So, let me put my headset on. All right, let's do a few laps.
YT. Said. GLHF.
Oh shit! Oh, this is single player. I guess I forgot to mention.
At Adrenaline YT. Said. My friend was at LE Mans in person this weekend.
Oh
He
damn!
arrived back in America today.
Nice. Credit where it's due. I don't know what kind of update that they've done, but on the straights, this game looks a little more clear than it has in the past. The blur is still there from the reprojection. When you go around corners, you can still see the blur, but I'm used to it by now. And after we do this race, I am gonna show you guys where the VR really shines on this game. Again, even though the audio isn't 100% accurate, out of all the cars in this Hypercar DLC, this Ferrari sounds the best. I really wanted to get the Peugeot because I didn't want to be like everybody else and grab the Ferrari, but it does sound the best. I'm only buying one car. I'm not buying any more cars. Stupid AI. Oof.
At Adrenaline YT. Said. That same friend will be at Road America this weekend as a tire changer at the IndyCar race.
Oh, nice!
At
I would...
NYF6PR. Said. I got the Peugeot Hypercar free on GT7.
How'd you get it for free?
At Adrenaline YT. Said. Yeah, GT7 by far has the least challenging AI. It's terrible and so ridiculously slow.
Yeah, for whatever reason, they're fast on the straights, but they almost come to a standstill on the corners. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention another reason why this DLC isn't going to move the needle with me. And I'll say it after this race because I don't know if I can be heard or not. Because it's actually kind of loud in this headset.
Kamikaze8824 said, do you plan on doing any online races?
No. I'll explain that in a second too.
DJ_Stevens said, I don't like this game, but damn, it looks good in VR.
They've tinkered with VR, because there's been times in the past where the VR has not looked very good.
Stevens doesn't like GT7. Stevens said, honestly, it looks just as good as non-VR. Couldn't tell the difference.
You will be able to tell the difference in a headset. Oh my God! The AI spun me around. You got to be kidding me.
At Adrenaluquit said, if you host a lobby tonight, Lincoln, I will be on controller. I hope that's okay.
No, I don't have PlayStation Plus in order to go online. I refuse to buy it. Shit. All right, let me take off my headset. Let's talk about a few things.
At Adrenaluke YT said, "Wait, how are you playing GT7 then?
I'm playing single
I thought
player.
You need online connection even for single player."
You need the online connection, but in order to take part in like the community lobbies and the rank races, you need PlayStation Plus.
At DJ_Stevens said, "Sony should have brought it to Steam when they had a chance. They got really greedy with the price hikes recently."
That they did. They did get super greedy. All right, that sounded kind of loud. Okay, so with this game, let's start by talking about the VR. When this game first came out, I mean, when the VR first launched on this game, it looked like dog shit. It looked like blurry shit. A lot of people were complaining about it. And Polyphony Digital, throughout the years, have tweaked the VR, and it's been trade-offs. When they made things look good up close, it was super blurry in the distance, and vice versa. When they fixed things in the distance, things up close had a really soft look to it. So this console only has so much power. The other thing is the reprojection, which is basically like DLSS, FSR, all that shit. It's putting fake frames in between the real frames. This game is actually running at 60 frames per second in VR, but the reprojection puts fake frames in between the real frames. Therefore, it's running at 120 frames per second. The problem with that is when you're on straights, everything looks gorgeous, it's beautiful. When you go around corners, things get blurry. It looks a little bit ghosted. Things are a little bit blurry. But I think Polyphony Digital has probably finally found the balance where the trade-off is not that much, because the game did actually look good in the headset. I can be brutally honest and say that, for one thing, it's the PSVR 2 headset is, even though people think it's an amazing headset is obsolete. It's still using Fresnel lenses, whereas most headset these days, pancake lenses are the norm. So right here with my MetaQuest Pro, it uses pancake lenses, and everything is sharp. I mean, super sharp. So that being said, I can be honest and say that if GT7 were on PC, a case could be made that it would be the best looking racing game in VR, because you would be able to use a headset to bring out how beautiful the game really is. I think this game's beauty is held back by this PlayStation VR 2 headset because it does not have pancake lenses. So, therefore, AMS2 still holds the crown. Every one of these racing games in VR has something that holds it back, that prevents me from saying that it's the best looking racing game. In the case of like F125, inside the cockpit of the racing car, extremely detailed, extremely sharp picture, but the distance is soft, just like borderline blurry. If it had a super sharp picture, so if GT7 was on PC and F126 had a sharp picture from front to back, it would be a toss up to me which one of those games would be the best looking racing game in VR. But because of the softness and the distance of F126, and because of the reprojection and GT7 running on an obsolete headset, AMS2, Automobilista 2 still wins the crown when it comes to best looking racing game in VR. Has a super sharp picture. It looks good. And it runs excellent. I would say that the big trade-off with Automobilista 2, it can run on a potato. The problem is when you do night races with rain and you're rendering a lot of AI cars, it will tax your PC. But you greatly reduce the number of cars. You do a day race, looks great, runs great. So you say that Sony should have brought it to Steam when they had a chance. They got really greedy with the price hikes. Well, if they would have brought this game to Steam, I think Sony feels that it would have. I think it would have hindered sales of the console. As of right now, to my knowledge, GT7 is still the only multiplayer, multi-server live service game, if you will, that is exclusive to the console. Everything else is available on PC. Marathon, the failed Concord, the upcoming Horizon game. Those are still all available on PC. And I think GT7 is the only live service, Sony exclusive, Sony first party game that's only on the console, not on PC. And I think the biggest reason, in addition to, if they would have brought it to Steam, in addition to it hindering console sales, they would not be able to force a PSN login because the Steam user base has shown Sony that they will not tolerate a PSN login. So Sony would not have all that data that they can throw at their shareholders. So if they come out with a PC launcher in their own PC store where they control 100% of the parameters and everything that happens on that store, they can force a PSN login and they could force you to do the PS Plus thing, which I don't think that would fly with PC people. I think they wouldn't do that on PC. But I definitely think they would do the PSN login. So I do, because of that, I do think the GT7 will not come to PC, but I think GT8 will be on PC. So, and as far as why, Adrenaluke, why I'm not doing multiplayer races, I'm not going to spend the money. I'm not going to spend the additional $60 it would take in order to buy the rest of the hypercars and not get much use out of them because they won't be used that much for the rank races. And then on top of that, another reason why this DLC does not do that much for me is because, to me, I don't even want to see a hypercar unless it's a multi-class race. Even when they do use these hypercars in rank races on GT7, in all likelihood, it will not be a multi-class race. So you will not see hypercars in GT3 in the same race as far as rank races goes. And even if they do it, there's only 16 cars in the rank races on GT7. I think that was a move that they had to make to accommodate the PS4 because when COVID hit, when GT7 first launched, multiplayer had 20 people. I think when they intended it to be a PS5 only game, but COVID forced them to have to include the PS4 And I think the PS4 just could not handle a 20-car grid as
At
far as multiplayer goes.
AMANYF6PR said, you didn't get the Peugeot Hypercar for free on download.
How's it free? Hold on. Just a minute. How is it free? Let's go back in there and see. So if you know, please tell me, because I want it. Because that's really the car that I wanted to be. That's really the car that I wanted to get. But, you know, the Ferrari does sound the best, honestly speaking. These 100,000 credits. I think these roulettes are a scam too. Absolutely, please tell me how to get the Peugeot. No, so please tell me how to get it. I guess we could take a look at it in the VR showroom. Now, this is the other part where, like, I'm not trying to be 100% negative. You know, this is definitely something where I could be positive, because even though PSVR 2 is an obsolete headset, one thing that I can say is this game has the best looking VR showroom. The cars look so real inside that showroom. Like Automobilista 2, for instance, has a VR showroom, but it still looks video gamey. The cars
At
still look a little bit cartoony.
AMANYF6PR said, I don't know except that I have it and I didn't buy it.
Maybe you already had the in-game credits. I don't know. I have to be honest. Like I said, with this VR showroom, this showroom makes these cars the most realistic looking cars in sim racing. I gotta be honest. This doesn't look like a video game, a cartoon image or digital image sitting in front of me. This looks like a real car. It looks like a real car that I can jump inside and drive. The one thing that blows me away is how low to the damn ground these cars are. I mean, this car looks like it's about waist high. So, yeah, I gotta give them that credit. I gotta give them that credit. Let's check out the other cars in the VR showroom, because like I said, gotta keep it real. Like the VR showroom on this game is, these cars look absolutely
At
gorgeous.
CoreyGlory0209 said, "Hope you doing good."
I'm doing pretty good. How about you? Yeah, it's been a while. Look, absolutely gorgeous. Oh, you could change it from night. Oh my god. So yeah, you can. No, we gotta take it back to night. I think right there is perfect. Look at that.
At CoreyGlory0209 said, "RHE fact you can get out and look at the car is amazing."
Absolutely gorgeous. So again, I have to be brutally honest. When it comes to VR, the cars on GT7, when you're sitting inside the car, when you see them in the showroom, they look the most like a real car. And that's one of the reasons why I said that if GT7 was on PC and you could use an up-to-date headset that has pancake or spheric lenses, it would probably be the best looking racing game on PC or across the board, period. As much as I don't like Sony these days, and as much as I haven't cared for Polyphony Digital with GT7 with their monetization tactics, I still got to be honest and admit that this is beautiful. Let's check out the BMW. Another beautiful car. The reflections, the gloss, the reflection on the cars is absolutely beautiful. And as I was saying, like those buttons right there, this looked like a real button board. It doesn't look digital. It doesn't look cartoony. It doesn't look video gamey. It feels like I'm sitting inside the real hypercar. And again, if this game was on PC and I could see it through, and I could look at it through my Quest Pro headset that's got pancake lenses, and I can bump that resolution all the way up to 4,000, 4,500 as high as I want, and see the car in that super sharp, super crispness, it would. I do think it would be the best looking racing game on PC. It's tough for me to admit that, but yeah, well, I mean, even though I was already driving it, we might as well have a look at the Ferrari too. Oops, not the Porsche. Oh shit, the numbers lit up on the side of the car. Yeah, I think hypercars are a work of art. Absolutely beautiful machinery, and does 200 miles an hour for 24 hours. Well, Glory, you can't exactly get out of the car. If you're already sitting in the car, you can't get out of it, because if you do, the screen will go black and you'll just see a wire frame of a car. I mean, this is basically your way of getting out of the car by looking at it through the VR showroom. Whereas other games on PC, I can physically get up out of the car and walk around the car and look at it. Um, in the case of games like ACC and AC Evo, the car is fully intact. But games like Le Mans Ultimate, Automobilista 2, Project Cars 2, everything that you would not see from inside the car is not rendered. So if I'm sitting inside the car and then I get out of the car has no headlights, no wheels, no rear wing, no windows. But then if you were to get back into the car, it feels like you're sitting inside the car. And then when you cycle through the cameras, something else that GT7 does not have in VR, when you cycle through the different cameras and you see the car from the outside, then yes, everything is rendered. Whereas GT7
At
does
a
not.
man YF6PR said, "Sorry Link, I was wrong. The Peugeot I'm looking at is the 908 FAP10. My bad, brother."
Oh, it's all good. Um, if I played this game enough and I would have bought all the hypercars, I would probably use the the Peugeot, because for one, I like the underdog. I love rooting for the underdog. Number two, the Ferrari hypercar. A lot of people probably believe that the Ferrari hypercar is the best looking hypercar. It is a beautiful car, and one thing that I do like about the Ferrari hypercar is that it's basically got the front end of the Ferrari 296. So you can kind of tell that it's a Ferrari in the front. Same thing with the BMW hypercar. It's got that distinctive BMW grille. Um, but for me, I like rooting for the underdog, and I think that Peugeot hypercar is a very unique looking car. I like the lights on it. I like the shape of the car. Um, yeah, I think that Peugeot is a pretty slick looking car. But the reason I didn't buy it, like I said, I only had enough credits to buy one car, and honestly speaking, the Ferrari is the best sounding car out of the hypercars, even though it's not accurate to the real car. It still sounds pretty good. So I think I'll probably do one more race just to putt around, and then I'll uh, pretty much get ready to wrap it up here. So that's really all this stream was about, was just to give my 2 cents on the hypercar DLC. I think that as I said earlier when this stream first started, the people that left GT7 for a more serious sim, they're not coming back. And the Key 25 was one of them. It was weird to see him say that on Twitter. He said he thought that this DLC was great for GT7 users. He said, but he can't go back. Um, he feels it took him too long to get these cars, which I'm definitely in agreement with. These cars should have been here right from the start. And he feels that GT7 is for casuals. He loves Le Mans Ultimate. So I never thought I would hear him say that, because even though he had dabbled with ACC and iRacing, GT7 was still his bread and butter. So Tichney, he's not leaving GT7, but he loves doing endurance events, which GT7 does not have. He was doing the endurance events on ACC a few years ago, and he's into Le Mans Ultimate. He's working to try to get his silver rating so he can start joining the endurance events on Le Mans Ultimate. And he said once he gets his silver rating, you'll see him streaming some endurance events on Le Mans Ultimate. So that's another thing that I think GT7 is missing, is these endurance events. And I don't think, and as I said before, I don't think they'll make use of these hypercars, because you won't see them in multi-class races unless it's like some special event for the manufacturer's event or something like that. Um, so that's another reason why this DLC did very little for me, because I just don't think Polyphony Digital is going to make use of these hypercars. The DLC feels like it's there to keep people from leaving. Um, but again, those that have left, they're not coming back. Those that are still with GT7 are not leaving. So I don't that's why I think that this DLC didn't move the needle. I don't think there's any people out there that was thinking, all right, I'm thinking about leaving GT7, but this DLC made them stay. I don't think that's the case. Those that are gone are gone. They're not coming back. Those that are still here, they're still here and they're not leaving. So for those that are still here, this DLC is great for them. Those that have left, this DLC is not going to bring them back, especially when you don't use these hypercars for multi-class races. On Le Mans Ultimate and iRacing, there is so much strategy involved when you're in a multi-class race. Um, and you're in a GT3, and you see
At
that.
a man YF6PR said, I have two rigs. One set up with Logitech RS50 for GT7 and one set up for PC with some AGIC equipment.
I'm in the same boat. I wouldn't call this a rig. I'm sitting at a folding table, and I've got this Logitech G923 True Force connected to it, and I'm sitting in basically a lawn chair. Now out there, I got my rig on my main computer. It is a GT Omega Prime, and I have, as far as the wheelbase goes, I have a Fanatec Podium DD1 with the F2 wheel, and I also have the McLaren GT3 wheel, even though I haven't used that in God knows how long. And I've got the Fanatec V3 load cell pedals. So yeah, my serious stuff is out there. As you can probably tell, I'm in my bedroom. This is my bed right here. And once upon a time, I did have my PS5 hooked up to my rig outside, but um, the monetization of GT7, along with the dirty driving in in GT7, and Polyphony Digital's inability to do anything about it, just drove me away from the game. And not only that, they only have 3 daily races. Even even Forza, I would probably make a case that on console, Forza has the most events. I think one week I think one week I was playing Forza and they had 15 different races. GT7 only has 3. As far as daily events goes, they only have 3. You know, when they do the manufacturers, whatever, the manufacturers and the Nations Cup and all that shit, you know, which comes around every couple of months or whatever the case may be. But other than that, they only have 3 daily races, and nobody does daily race A because, you know, you driving around in the SUVs and shit like that. So, and then daily race B and C, at least one of them's always a group 3, which I'm fine with that because GT3 is the most popular class out there. No way around it. And then the other one is just whatever. It could be a group 4 or whatever.
At
So,
Aman YF6PR said, "You put out great content, Lincoln.
hey, thanks a
Thanks
lot.
for all you do, man."
Hey, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Thanks so much. You know, again, because I have to help my brother organize the funeral, I will be off work the rest of this week. So I will be definitely streaming again this week. Um, I will be streaming Project Motor Racing. I will be streaming Le Mans Ultimate this week. We'll take a look at Rensport at the DLC there. I don't know how long I'll be able to tolerate Rensport because the AI is absolutely horrible. And then the game is basically a ghost town. Minimal people play it on the ranked races. And then I think we got new daily races this week on Race Room. So depending on what those races are, we'll have a look at that. I just wish Automobile Institute had in-game rank races, because that game is so underrated. So yeah, so let's do a few laps again, and I want to go back to Circuit de la Sarthe because I think that's where the hypercars belong. Yeah, let's do an evening race. Yeah. All right, let's go. Stupid AI. Credit where it's due. Looks good. Whoa! Oh shit! The sparks. When the cars scrape the ground in the sparks, you see the sparks coming from the rear diffuser? I admit GT7 does that best. Oh, look at those sparks. That looks excellent. Gotta give him credit.
YF6PR. Sim. I'd like to see big screen beyond send you a headset to review.
I couldn't use it though because I wear glasses. I'll talk about that after this race. Jesus. First place is way up there. Oof. Made a few mistakes. One more lap and I would have got him. Okay, so gorgeous replay.
At Gaming Legends. Said. GG.
Gaming Legends.
Ain't no stopping this train! Whoa!
Okay, so about the big screen thing. The big screen beyond, it's a really small headset, and you can't wear glasses underneath the big screen beyond. However, you can send them your prescription because you have to use an iPhone or something like that to scan your face so they can tailor make the face plate, the face cushion to your face. Also, you send them your prescription and they will make lenses to cater to your prescription if you wear glasses. The problem with that is that um, I am a type 2 diabetic, and as you can probably see, I'm not near as big as I was in my thumbnail for my YouTube channel because I used to be a pretty big dude. But the problem with the type 2 diabetes that I have is that my vision changes. If I take in too much carbs, things will get a little bit blurry until I back off the carbs. Then it may take a few days for my vision to get a little bit better. So my vision goes up and down. So I could send Big Screen Beyond my prescription, but if I take in too much carbs, then it's going to get blurry and then I wouldn't be able to see very well through the headset anyway. So I've got a ton of glasses around here at different magnifications depending on, how my vision is that day. So when my vision's a little bit more blurrier than usual, I have to wear a little bit more powerful glasses. So that is why I would not be able to use the Big Screen Beyond. Otherwise, I would have had one by now. I would have bought one. Um, so no, all of my headsets, I bought all of my headsets. I've got about um I think in my apartment here, let me see, I've got the PSVR 2, two Quest Pros, a Quest 3, I think two Quest 2s, an HP Reverb G2, and an old Rift, Oculus Rift S. So I've got about 8 headsets in here, but I bought more than that. I bought my son, I bought him headsets over the years, Quest 2, Quest 3. I've given away a couple of headsets over the years. So yeah. Um, yeah, I've had my fair share of headsets. So all right, so I've been live for about 2 hours, and like I said, most of it was me just yapping and yapping and yapping, more or less about the state of what I think the state of GT7 is. It's not in any kind of trouble. I just don't think this
At a man YF6PR. Said. Gotcha. My vision does that as well with sugar intake.
Yeah, definitely.
Crazy stuff.
Yep. And sometimes, when my vision gets blurry, sometimes, when I work out, I might have to crank up the intensity to get my vision back sooner. So, I don't go blind. It's just, um, when I race in VR, the sharper the picture is and the better that I can see, the better that I can race. Because we're talking about a sharp picture can make all the difference in between you getting a track cut. If I don't see the line clearly, it's very well possible that I could get over aggressive and go over the line and get a track violation, that makes that much of a difference. Not only that, the sharper the picture, the better I can judge the corner when I approach the
At
corner.
a man YF6PR. Said. Have a great evening.
Hey, thank you so much. Well, it's 12 a.m. It's 12:13 a.m. here in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I will definitely be back tomorrow. I just don't know what I'm going to stream. And but whatever I stream, I'll more likely be out on my other rig. And it'll more likely be in VR because I love VR. Now, Project Motor Racing has put me in a precarious position because even though that game has had a bad launch, I get most of my views from Project Motor Racing. And so much to the point where I had thought about giving up the other sims and giving up racing in VR altogether, at least until they get their VR squared away. And I love racing in VR. Nothing is more immersive than racing in VR. Um, And not only that, it's a necessary tool for me because I race faster in VR. So yeah, whatever I end up streaming, it'll more than likely be in VR. So for those of you that like watching me race in VR, because some people don't like it, they don't like a person's head moving around, they don't like the head shaking, all that kind of shit. But for those of you that like it, definitely appreciate it. So I think that's gonna go ahead and do it for me. Definitely want to thank you all for hanging out. Again, well, I'll take a look at the rank races on Rank Room and Le Mans Ultimate and figure out what I'll stream tomorrow. So, or it could be Ren Sport. I totally forgot about that. If I stream Ren Sport,
At Harry Desi said, I just started racing in VR, can't go back to flat screen.
yeah, Harry,
Best thing ever.
I've seen your name a few times in the PMR Discord. So yeah, I know you're down with VR. So yeah, that definitely the best way to race. So yeah, I just thought about that. If I stream Rensport, I'll do it from here because Rensport's VR is broken. Um, so much to the point that I think they disabled it. So if I do Rensport, if I stream that tomorrow, it'll be flat screen. And because I don't put a lot of time into Rensport and shit like that, I'm not going to go out there on my other rig. So if I stream Rensport, and if you Rensport flat screen, it's not a very demanding game. You can run a lot of flat screen games. You don't have to have a super demanding PC. It's only when you want to do shit in VR where you might need somewhat of a beefy PC or a decent PC. So if I stream Rensport tomorrow, I will do it from here again in my bedroom. But anything else, tomorrow, more than likely, I'll be streaming it in VR and I'll be streaming it from my other rig, where the better experience is at. So thank you so much for watching, everybody. I really, really appreciate it. I'm going to kick back and watch some other videos and streams and what have you. And excuse me. And I'll see you guys sometime tomorrow or in a few hours when I get up. We'll take it from there. Um, so until then, you all know the line. Wakanda forever, long live the king, and deuces. We'll see you soon, everybody. Have a good one.